Gavin Newsom got interviewed by Jen Psaki on MSNBC, and one of the moments caught my eye in relation to, they were talking about Ron DeSantis, and Gavin Newsom just kind of gets asked, if you are to put on your pundit hat and just analyze the situation, what do you think DeSantis's political chances are in a possible 2024 GOP presidential primary? What should he do? How would you advise him? And Gavin Newsom's response is definitely correct. And I want to talk about the entire conversation here afterwards.
A fan.
He has had some responses of late that have been hugely problematic, offensive, dangerous. I mean, one of them was going after the Manhattan district attorney, echoing the language of former President Donald Trump with that threatening language, suggesting Democrats are weaponizing the judicial system. But you also are a very astute political guy. Do you think that is smart politics in the Republican primary?
No, I thought he looked weak. This is purely the politician in me, my political punditry.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than a politician, current one, being a political pundit. So let me forgive all of us.
We'll give you a moment. We'll give you a moment.
Because you just live too subjectively. In an effort to be objective as a pundit, he just looked weak. Weakness masquerading as strength.
So if you're not advising Governor DeSantis, I know that, but what is his political path here? Should he be running away from criticizing Trump? Should he be speaking up for the rule of law?
He's going to get rolled by Trump. Trump's just going to roll him. Thumped. I honestly, if I were offering him
I love that word, thumped.
political advice, I'd tell him to pack up and wait a few years. And actually do some of the hard work, which actually includes governing, not just identity and culture war. Actually go back and actually start to address some of the insurance issues, start to address some of the cost issues, and particularly cost of housing. These are very familiar. I'm very humbled by all of this. I understand the systemic trouble. I'm the first to acknowledge. I'm my own worst critic. I'd be working on some of those basic things. I'd expand Medicaid to have the backs of folks out there that need preventative care. I'd be focusing on the acuity of the environment, Mother Nature. She bats last, bats 1,000. I know that from being in Little Rock and Wynn down in Arkansas and Rolling. I mean, this is a serious moment in American history, world history. I hope he would start to focus on some of those issues. That would be my advice. Come back as a more seasoned and capable leader with a little humility, which, by the way, he can use a little of.
I don't know if he'll be finding that humility anytime soon. But increasingly, and all of this, we can't know 100% for sure. Of course, it's speculation, but that's literally my job in this situation. I really do think DeSantis is, as Gavin Newsom said, if he jumps into the race, going to get thumped by Trump. And from the beginning, even though DeSantis' polling for a while there was so strong compared to Trump in certain polls, and there's so much chatter about him on Fox News and all of that, it's just hard to imagine whenever Trump's in the race, you could take over the Trumpism movement, because that's what it is. People aren't moving away from, as I've said many times, Trumpism. Some are moving away from Trump specifically because of his baggage, because of whatever, his personality they're tired of, or a few other factors. Maybe they want a younger generation, you'll hear from some people. But still, while there's a part of the Republican Party that's against the entire Trumpism, that entire characteristic of this modern Republican Party, for the most part, the majority is on board with it. And they just want to see that in a different figure, possibly, some of them. But I don't think you're going to get enough of them to move over to someone while Trump's still in the race, especially now that there's a coalescing around Trump, this defense of him in regard to his indictment. And so, as Gavin Newsom outlined there, maybe DeSantis should actually, instead of constantly doing political stunts to make him more prominent within the Republican Party and the Republican base, the MAGA base, instead of doing those things, he could spend time actually trying to solve real issues. Instead of going after Disney for being pro-LGBTQ, he could actually address some of the issues that significantly impact his citizens, his constituents, and then see how things look in a few years. I mean, obviously, I hope he would never run for higher office. He would be a terrible president, but strategically, Gavin Newsom's exactly right. Because when you go against Trump, while I wish someone could defeat him, absolutely, and hopefully when he probably becomes the nominee within the GOP, Biden, being the likely Democratic nominee, will defeat him, hopefully. But when you go against Trump, it's not what you sometimes see within the Democratic Party, which is, yeah, we disagree. Yeah, I think I would be a better candidate. But we all have respect for one another, or some of us have respect for one another. And later on, you see Biden and Kamala Harris able to be on the same ticket together and stuff like that. Trump doesn't work like that. Trump makes you his full and complete enemy, as we've all observed. He's already doing that with DeSantis. So for DeSantis to jump in the race now, again, it's not like the Democratic primary or the Republican primary of the past, where it can be a nice way to become more prominent, to get your name out there, to have your policy positions heard more, and then you capitalize off of that more in a future race. That's not the case within the Trump Republican primary, because you will become the enemy of a large portion of the Republican base. And likely your political future later will be destroyed because of that very reality, unless somehow the very identity of the GOP, the Republican base, changes within the next few years, which I don't see happening. Maybe Trump becomes politically irrelevant for whatever reason, legal troubles or others. But Trumpism, the unique way in which so much of the Republican base is just detached from reality on so many issues, and the type of politics they like to see, that's not going away for quite a while. And it's going to be fascinating, both in this primary and in so many situations, seeing how that plays out. Let me know what you think. Luke P. Beasley on Twitter.